Welcome to the Michigan Football Report Monday, February 12th, Michigan Football Rumors Roundup. We've got 12 awesome rumors to get into around Michigan football right now. First up is keeping Tim Drevno turning into a problem for Jim Harbaugh. Well, folks, there's a little bit of chatter out there. I'm only giving it one Harbaugh head because of the source. The guy's name is Greg Henson. He reports a lot of rumors, claimed to have sources. Nothing in the report that he put out over the weekend gives me any credibility, anything that gives me more credibility to think it might be a 2 or a 3 Harbaugh head. Basically what he said is that keeping Tim Drevno on with all the issues Michigan had in offense this year is losing credibility with other coaches, is losing credibility with potential recruits and their coaches and families and players on the team. He also said in that report that Dan Enos left because of the issues with Drevno and that not knowing what Drevno's role would be, not knowing what Enos' role would be, wanted something more stable at Alabama. That's why he took off. On to rumor number 2 in the Michigan Football Rumors Roundup. Do we have a new offensive coordinator as NFL offensive coordinator as wide receivers coach? Well, people are talking about this one. 2 Harbaugh heads. The man's name is John Morton, not to be confused with Johnny Morton, the former Lions receiver. Offensive coordinator for 1 season at the Jets this past year, was subsequently fired after only 1 year on the job. Has a history with Harbaugh going way back to 2004-5-ish at the University of San Diego, and then coached for him at the San Francisco 49ers for 4 straight seasons. He was rumored to be coming to Michigan 3 years ago when Jim Harbaugh first took the job, ultimately took a different role. Now he's looking for a job. Michigan's looking for a coach. Could John Morton be the guy? A lot of chatter out there, most notably Bruce Feldman of Sports Illustrated and Fox Sports, works for both those publications, put this out just in the last 24 hours. So keep an eye on John Morton, giving this one 2 Harbaugh heads. On to number 3. Saw this one on Saturday. Jim McElwain has been hired. Well, Pro Football Scoop put it out there, kind of, and then some other people picked it up on it with a question mark. They weren't sure if it was a report or if they were guessing. So we're giving this one fake news, folks. This is totally fake. McElwain has not been hired, but not saying he could not come on the staff at some point, not saying he won't end up at Michigan, but as of right now, Jim McElwain has not been hired. Harbaugh's still interviewing for whether it'll be an offensive coordinator or a potential wide receivers coach role. Not sure what they're hiring for yet. I don't even think Jim Harbaugh knows, given that he's offered the job. To Dan Enos came on as a wide receiver coach, maybe offensive coordinator, and some others, guys like McElwain, Terry Robisky. They don't know if it's offensive coordinator, wide receiver. A lot of rumors out there, but this one is complete fake news on McElwain. What are these Harbaugh heads, you ask? Well, if you've seen this show before, you know, and people on YouTube love the Harbaugh head. This is our kind of Jim Harbaugh believability scale. 0 Harbaughs, fake news, folks. Totally false. Don't believe it. 1 Harbaugh head, small shred of truth. Maybe it comes to fruition, but not enough evidence out there. 2 Harbaugh heads, people are talking 50-50. Could happen, maybe, maybe not. 3 Harbaugh heads says it's pretty likely. Either we have a source or someone reputable out there thinks it's going down. If we give it the 4 Harbaugh heads, folks, that means it's an F-A-C-K fact. That's how Jim Harbaugh spells it. That's how we spell it here at Chat Sports. My name is James Yoder. I am the king of Michigan football media, self-proclaimed, and we today are presented by Man Crates. Man Crates is the only way to get gifts for guys, especially if they're Michigan football fans. Valentine's Day coming up in a couple of days. Get the Michigan barware set. It's awesome. I drink out of it every single night. I don't have a problem, just 1 drink, but go get that for the guy in your life. mancrates.com. Get the barware set. If they're not into that, they've got gadgets. They've got gear. No fluff, no ribbons, and it comes in a wooden crate. You got to pry it open with a crowbar. mancrates.com. On to rumor number 4. I'm sorry, actually, not on to number 4. We have a question for you guys today. A weigh-in, as Chat Sports calls it. Should Jim Harbaugh hire a new offensive coordinator in 2018? We've asked this question on previous Michigan football reports, and we've had a lot of differentiating opinion. Some people say keep Drevno on. Some people say fire him. Some will say put him as offensive line coach. A lot of differentiating opinions out there. I think most think that they should get rid of Tim Drevno. The offense has underperformed. Others say, well, they had a really young team in 2018. Let's give him 1 more year, see what he does with a more veteran group with Shea Patterson quarterback. A lot of stuff. Hit me in the comments section. Mention my name. Give me a hashtag insider. I'll respond to you, and we'll go from there. On to rumor number 4. Did Toledo's offensive coordinator turn down a Michigan coaching job? Well, this is a 3 Harbaugh heads on this one, folks. We're going to go, it's pretty likely at this point that Toledo's offensive coordinator was offered the job as Michigan's wide receiver coach. He saw it as a step down and not keeping his career trajectory, which he thinks is going to land him a head coaching job in the years to come. So this is just reported in the last 36 hours or so. Harbaugh said, hey, come to me. Maybe you'll get the offensive coordinator job. Maybe you won't, but wasn't enough for him to leave Toledo. One of the better offenses in the country, especially when it comes to balanced running, balanced passing attack. So he is on the upswing. Michigan couldn't get him to take a downward, demotion for a year or two. He is not coming to Ann Arbor. On to rumor number 5. Did Hugh Freeze, was he going to come to Michigan? Was there any credibility to this rumor I saw out there? This is more of a message board thing, folks. We're giving it a 1 Harbaugh head because I did hear this 3 or 4 weeks ago that Michigan, maybe even to get Shea Patterson before the whole Patterson may appeal thing came out, that they would offer a job, whether it was an offensive job or maybe an analyst role, a non-coaching position, to Hugh Freeze. Saw it out there on some internet message boards over the weekend. People said, well, Harbaugh knew this one wouldn't get approved by the administration. They wouldn't feel it, but he wanted to talk to McElwain. Ultimately, when the thing that you see on screen was just too much to even consider, that he called a escort service while on a recruiting trip at Ole Miss, there was no chance it was happening. But this kind of jumps into our next one, is that Jim Harbaugh, a lot of rumors out there that he is having issues with the Michigan administration. So rumor number 6 is Jim Harbaugh upset with the admission process around transfers when it comes to Michigan. Well, we're giving this one, folks, a 2 Harbaugh head. A lot of people talking about this one over the weekend. There was a post on a blog I won't mention, kind of detailing some secret Facebook group about what's going on with Michigan football, why all these different coaches are being looked at, why they haven't fired Pat Hamilton. One of the notes that a lot of people jumped in and were talking about is that Jim Harbaugh wanted multiple Ole Miss transfers to come to Michigan, and he has had battles with the Michigan admissions department to get transfers in, to get potentially junior college players in, and to get even some borderline academic players in there. So reputable person who put it out there. I'm only going to 2 Harbaugh's heads because it'll go against everything Jim Harbaugh said back in 2007 at Stanford, that he doesn't think that colleges should give any academic breaks to their student athletes. So 2 Harbaugh heads on this one, and we are going to take it to another weigh-in, folks. Will Jim Harbaugh be Michigan's head coach in 5 years? The reason I ask you this question is because last 2 questions, last 2 rumors we've had are around Jim Harbaugh's ability to do what he wants as Michigan's head football coach, to be the dictator of all things Michigan football. If he can't get his guys in, if he was considering a coach, even one like Hugh Freeze or maybe Kendall Briles, who we told you about a few weeks back was going to be considered, if he can't even have the opportunity to get those guys because of the hierarchy, because of the bureaucracy at Michigan and this admissions problem, could he start looking into the NFL? If he gets too much heat from people, could he start looking to the NFL or another college job? Maybe, but I want to hear from you. Go ahead and type in the comment section. Yes, no, give us your take on this one. All right. My name is James Yoder. I am the king of Michigan football media. We've got a great show for you. Coming back more with 6 more rumors around the program. Let's take it to rumor number 7. Is Grant Perry transferring? This one is just blowing my mind, folks. So I'm going to give it a 2 Harbaugh head because there's a little too much out there for me to ignore. So one person out there put it on Twitter, then it got picked up by some of the blogs, that Grant Perry was on a bus this weekend from Ann Arbor to Kalamazoo. Someone asked him where he was going. He said he was going to Western Michigan to check it out for the first time. They asked him, visiting friends, visiting a girlfriend. He said no. Then, I wish I had this. I meant to put this on the show, folks. I'm going to put it in the comment section. There's actually a screenshot that has surfaced in the last day that shows his Facebook account for people who can see it, who are friends with him. It says, former student at the University of Michigan. Now, we've heard plenty of rumors about wide receivers kind of turned off by the fact that all these freshmen came in 2017. Some of them jumped people in the depth chart. So could Grant Perry be seeking a grad transfer elsewhere? Where a lot of questions unanswered on this one. One, he's only been in the program for 3 years, so for him to graduate already would be an impressive feat, to say the least. So don't know the status on that yet. But also, too, I want to show you this tweet coming up right here. Michigan actually tweeted out 4 days ago a happy birthday to Grant Perry. So I find it unlikely that he would be transferring, but there was enough kind of chatter out there, the bus ride, then the former student at the University of Michigan on his Facebook page, for me to completely ignore this one, giving anything less than a 2 Harbaugh heads. People are talking. Let's go on to rumor number 8. Is Michigan changing their recruiting focus? Are they now focused on the in-state players, the state of Michigan? Well, I'll give this one a 2 Harbaugh head because people are talking. That's all we can say on this one. But there's some good evidence that Michigan is trending this direction. Michigan is now given, for the 2019 classes, more offers to in-state players than they did all of 2018, the entire cycle, and on par with 2017, 2016 classes. So by the time we get to signing day 2019, almost a year from now, will Michigan have 10, 12, 15 more offers out to players? To be determined, but it seems to be trending this way. 14 players in the state of Michigan have already got offers from the University of Michigan, including one quarterback. So 2 Harbaugh heads on this one. Keep an eye out for Michigan's recruiting class. If they start getting a wave of commitments from in-state guys, Jim Harbaugh is focusing more on the state, wants to kind of take away some of that momentum that Mark D'Antonio has had for the last decade plus that Michigan lost this year with the loss in Ann Arbor. On to rumor number 9. There is a lot of chatter out there, folks, that Shea Patterson's appeal might be filed in the next week. I'm only going to one Harbaugh head because I haven't seen anybody reputable put this out there. It's been more, I heard from a friend of a source of a person that they're going to appeal this week. But the reason it's not fake news is I have heard for several weeks that it likely would happen in the month of February. So only 2.5 weeks left in the month of February. So maybe this week, but I can't imagine they're ready to do it this week, knowing that his lawyer Thomas Mars said just about 10 days ago that it was not going to happen until late March, early April. So we'll see what happens there. But one Harbaugh head, keep an eye out. Follow Chat Sports on Facebook. The Michigan Wolverines, paid by Chat Sports, will be the first to report should Shea Patterson's appeal be filed, and of course what happens when that appeal is filed. My name is James Yoder. Once again, folks, follow me on Twitter at James T. Yoder. I made the account private just so the awesome information can be had by you great Michigan football fans. So give me a follow today. I'll approve most people as long as I don't think you're coming there for any shenanigans. All right, I got a question for you guys. Do you think Shea Patterson will be eligible in 2018? Go ahead and give it the like button on Facebook if you think he will be eligible in 2018. Give it a no if you don't think he would. Now, I've said for months now, going back to November when we were the first report on his interest in Michigan and potentially even coming for the Ohio State game. If he is not eligible, I think it'd be devastating to Michigan's chances at a Big Ten championship in 2018. But one thing to think about, we've got a rumor coming up. Why wouldn't he be eligible? What would be the reasons that maybe even some Ole Miss players that transferred would be and Shea Patterson wouldn't be? Well, think about this one. It's rumor number 10, folks. Saw this out there. Actually got me thinking a little bit, but I don't want to put too much credibility behind it. One Harbaugh head for this one. Could Shea Patterson's enrolling early in late January of 2016, could that hurt him in his appeal request to play in 2018? And some other of his classmates in that 2016 class, maybe they will be allowed to play in 2018, but not Shea. Here's the reason why it could happen. Well, some of these players came in that class in February after Ole Miss got their notice of allegations, where Shea actually joined and was enrolled in school before the notice of allegations, signed his paperwork. So there was about a 2-week window from Ole Miss getting their notice of allegations to the 2016 recruiting class. And people are saying out there that, well, Shea wasn't affected by this notice of allegations because he was already a student, where these other players, Ole Miss continued to mislead them after they got the notice of allegations. So one Harbaugh head in this one. I don't think it's going to, hold Shea back from being eligible, but you never know. I've seen the NCAA do stupider things. On to rumor number 11. Is an Rice offensive lineman transfer Calvin Anderson? Is he headed to Auburn? Well, he headed to Auburn, folks. 4 Harbaugh heads, but not for good. He just visited them, but he was very complimentary on them. Some recruiting analysts think that maybe it's a three dogs in the race and not just 2, Michigan and Texas, like it's been for the past several weeks. So keep an eye out for Auburn. The race for Anderson, he is set to decide in the next 6 weeks. It sounds like he might even take a few visits during spring practice on his own dime to some of these schools, but visited Auburn this past weekend. He didn't commit there or anything like that, but the glowing reviews he gave to a few recruiting websites have got us thinking twice on whether or not he's going to be a Michigan Wolverine in 2018 as a grad transfer, instant eligibility type of player. All right. Rumor number 12, folks. This is the last one on a Monday afternoon. We got all kinds of rumors out there swirling. Is Michigan going to be ranked number 6 in the 2018 polls? Well, according to one poll, so we're going to give it 2 Harbaugh heads on this one because we'll see what happens in the actual polls. But for now, there is a poll. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the biggest newspaper in the South, put out their post-recruiting signing day top 25, and they have Michigan at number 6, higher than any other Big Ten team, which I think is rather surprising. They're banking some of it on the likelihood that Shea Patterson, a player that many people in the South saw play over the last 2 years,
will be eligible and will be enough of an impact player to overcome a lot of the offensive warts that Michigan had in the 2018 season. So keep an eye out for Michigan to be higher in the polls than some people think. If Shea Patterson is declared eligible, I think a lot of these publications, Chat Sports included, will revise their polls to have Michigan inside the top 10. Number 6 is fairly high. It would be surprising to see him there. But nevertheless, how do you like that picture? Is that Shea Patterson there? No, that is Sam McGuffey. I just edited it with the Jordan logo, 2008 season. But McGuffey, I gave him a little shout out because he is on the Olympic team right now, an Olympic bobsledder to be exact. So congrats to former Wolverine Sam McGuffey on that one. That is not Shea Patterson. All right, that is the Michigan football rumors Monday rumor round, Michigan Football Report Monday rumor roundup. I am James Yoder, the king of all Michigan football media. We are presented by Man Crates. Go to mancrates.com to get your Michigan football barware set or any kind of awesome gift for Guy. Mancrates.com is the website. They're awesome. I'm James Yoder. We'll see you back in a few days with more rumors, more on this Michigan football coaching staff. See you then.